Hey guys, it's been about 18 years since the Bad Graphics YouTube channel first started, and about 5 years since I last posted a public video. So I figure I take today to kind of just go over what I've been doing for the last 5 years and what's coming up. So let's get into it. The first thing was a game I was working on at the time that was a bit of a successor to Castle in the Sky. This game was a bit more fast-paced though, and required you to learn routes and collect stars under a specific time limit. I released a demo for this in December 2020 to get feedback and just get a general temp check on how people felt about the game. Overall, it was a pretty apathetic response, and I wasn't sure if it warranted continuing development on. Nowadays, you can play the game. It's not finished, but there's enough there where you might get something out of it. Link in the description. Another idea I had attempted several times was another Figments game. The second Figments game, Figments vs. Spirits, initially started as a sort of tutorial for the first one, Trial of the 40 Figments, because I wanted something to ease players into the mechanics. But after a while that evolved into its own thing, sort of a mix between a puzzle game and a turn-based RPG. It wasn't the most I could have gotten out of that idea though, and I would have liked to expand on it some more. None of my attempts ever got developed enough to warrant showing off, so I'll just leave some clips here of what I actually managed to produce. I finally struck something interesting with a prototype for what I was calling Castle in the Sky 2. Instead of going through one castle, like in the first game, this would have you going through multiple, each with a different randomly generated layout. I experimented with procedurally generated maps for a bit, and eventually I had a full Roblox game that people could play, albeit with a manually created map. But that was just to test the framework. I needed something to test the framework before I went all in on the procedurally generated idea. There was a pretty good response to this. People were excited by what was there and wanted to see more. So that was my main project for a pretty good while. Several more handmade castles were added to the game, and eventually I did get a castle generator added in there with a new procedurally generated castle every single day. It was probably one of the hardest projects that I've ever done, and I think there's a lot in that game worth checking out. So if there's going to be any project that you actually look into after this video, I would say this is the one. The castle generator was added in version 4 of this game, Castle in the Sky 2, which was officially released under the name Sky of Secrets. I struggled to release any updates after version 4 though. I think the vision for this game really hinged upon this daily castle feature, and what was there didn't really feel like it had the legs to achieve the vision I wanted. So that project kind of stalled out after a certain point. I might still return to it someday for a version 5, but I can't give a promise that it will come anytime soon. My focus on developing Roblox games started to dry up around the start of 2023. Since I wasn't really sure where to go with Sky of Secrets, I figured I'd put my effort somewhere else for the time being. That somewhere else is a project that I'm still working on to this day. I don't have an official name for it yet, so let's just call it the Meal Planner app. I've tried several meal planner apps on the App Store, and none of them really accomplished everything that I was looking for in an app like this. So I decided to make one myself. This app isn't quite at the point where I'd want to show it off too much. I'm still going through internal testing at this point in time. But the idea behind it is to have an app that you can put all of your upcoming recipes that you want to do in, and it will automatically generate a shopping list based on the ingredients in those recipes. It also keeps track of what ingredients you already have, so you don't get a bunch of suggestions for stuff that you don't need. This app is pretty far along in development, so I expect that you'll hear some more about it in the upcoming future. So stay tuned on that. The best place to stay up to date on the stuff that I'm working on is the Bad Graphics Creations Discord server. And that has been the case for many years. Most of the people in that server are there, follow me on my work on Roblox games. This meal planner app hasn't really been the kind of project where I can give regular updates. So I wanted to create something to keep the people on that server engaged during the course of this app's development. And the thing that I settled on was a Discord bot I call Bad Graphics Trading Card. Every day you talk on the server, you have a chance of getting a random digital trading card. There are 67 designs and they all have an equal rarity. You can of course trade cards with other users and other things as well, like daily quests and the ability to steal other users' cards. All the card designs are from existing Bad Graphics projects, so there's a way for it to tie back in to the theme of the server. Join the Bad Graphics Discord server today if you also want to start collecting cards. As for games I'm working on now, I've been experimenting with a few different ideas. Sky of Secrets version 5 is, of course, something I find myself continuing to come back to. But given how many times that idea has started up and fizzled out, I wouldn't depend on this iteration necessarily coming out. About a year ago, a friend of mine convinced me to try out the Godot engine, and I enjoyed the time I spent making stuff in there. I'll throw up some clips of the thing I've been working on in there, but this is also still a very prototypical idea, so don't consider this a preview for something that will necessarily come out. So yeah, those are pretty much all the projects I've worked on in the last 5 years. There's also a Sky of Secrets developer commentary that I wrote the script for about a year ago, and that has still not come out. Since I'm covering this kind of stuff right now anyway, I figure I will finish that up and release that soon as well. So stay tuned. Besides that, you probably won't see me again until I have something more substantial to show you. So I'll see you when I see you. Have a good one, guys.